I was diagnosed in December 2015. Wow, it's been a while.
When I was 16 and I was going through a very deep depression phase, my parents admitted me in CMC Vellore. And they already had records of my grandfather's bipolar disorder because he was diagnosed with it back in the 80s, early 80s. No, 70s, sorry. Yeah, 70s, 80s. Somewhere there, you get the idea. And so they knew that there was a family history because my parents mentioned it. So they diagnosed me as depression and with a future chance of having bipolar disorder. Close to when I was getting married, there was another very enraged phase, very sensitive phase that I went through. And I again went in to see a psychiatrist, this time in Ranipet. There's a mission hospital there. So there. And she had access to the records as well of me, of my granddad, because she was the ex-head of psychiatry in CMC Vellore. And she concluded it as bipolar disorder. Now in 2018, as we were continuing therapy and treatment and stuff, she changed the diagnosis as depression, that I went through a second depression and that it wasn't bipolar from what she observed. So, yeah, that's pretty much the longer answer there.
2013, towards the end of 2013, my dad was diagnosed with chronic depression and suicidal tendencies. And basically, after that meeting with the psychiatrist, I stayed back. I was like, I want to talk to this person. And I was like, I think I'm the same. And he looked at me and he was like, no, you're completely fine. Nothing's wrong with you. I said, my dude, listen to me. And then he started speaking and then he got really concerned. And he diagnosed me with a personality depression. And he made me do like these bunch of tests in like one day. So I did Rorschach, I did MMTI, I did like 4 tests in one day, one after the other. And it was very tedious and tiring, and I'm not sure after a point how effective they were, because after a point I was just trying to finish the tests. Yeah, so this was final year degree college. I was doing literature, and I could not show up for 4 exams straight because I couldn't stop crying. And then when we finally got an appointment and things like that, I went in and he was like, okay, so maybe it's not mild depression because I know you and you would have just showed up irrespective. But if it's not, if you couldn't, then there is a deeper problem and all of those things. And I'm like, okay, but also I don't value exams as one usually does. They're not as important to me. So maybe, I just don't want you to misunderstand the intensity of, because I did not give a fuck. So I'm like, if it really, really mattered to me, maybe I would have showed up, but it didn't matter to me. But he was like, no, irrespective, blah, blah, blah. And then he spoke about how he's seen ups and downs. And I'm like, okay. And then he elaborated on what recurrent depression is, or what bipolar 2 looks like. And I was like, yeah, this makes more sense. This is more me than what you were saying earlier, right? So it was almost a relief to be able to have another tag other than depression, because depression is so misunderstood. It's just like, oh, you're sad. That's just the common perception. And usually even like my family, friends, whatever, maybe with or without my best interest as their intention, they would just keep telling me to snap out of it, right? And just having a tag other than that, oh, it's bipolar, and somehow in the hierarchy of mental illnesses, I kind of went up the serious level, how seriously people took me. I was just like, oh, finally they'll cut me some slack, like, that was it. I was just like, oh, cool. So it didn't change what I was going through at all. It was the same. But the communication to the other people, that it's not merely sadness, was very important to me.